Thanks for joining me, Mr. P, for Chapter 10 of FAKER. On Monday morning, Mr. Novak strides to the whiteboard and writes, Robin Hood. We stare at him blankly, waiting for more. Come on, people, he prompts. We all know Robin Hood from the stories. You mean like Little Red Robin Hood and the Big Bad Wolf, Logan ventures? The teacher laughs. That's Little Red Riding Hood. I'm talking about Robin Hood. You know, who lived in Sherwood Forest with his band of merry men, and they battled the evil sheriff of Nottingham in the name of King Richard the Lionheart. Robin Hood was the guy who stole from the rich to give to the poor, I put in. Exactly! So I ask you, was Robin Hood a good person? Of course, Kaylee replies. He helped the needy. That's charity. Yeah, but he steals, Teresa counters. That's always wrong. But where's he gonna get the money if he doesn't steal it? Logan argues. The guy lives in a forest. Like my mom always says, money doesn't grow on trees. That gets a few snickers, but mostly groans. So now you see the complication of ethics, Mr. Novak announces. Giving to the poor. Great. Stealing? Not so great. Is it ever okay to do something wrong in order to do something right? But he only steals from the rich, I blurt. I'm horrified because I nearly said, we only steal from the rich, which is something Dad tells Ariana and me all the time. Actually, he doesn't call it stealing, but his point is that we do it, it's just fine, because our marks are wealthy enough not to miss the money we take from them. Following my father's logic, we're the poor, which doesn't mean we're needy. It means we do what we do in order to support ourselves. What difference does that make? Kaylee demands. Stealing is wrong no matter who you're stealing from. But my voice trails off. I was about to say they can afford it. I'm having a mental picture of that helicopter delivering Mr. McAvoy, Rudy's father, to meet Lord Gladstone. Standing there with my dad and the dog, it seemed so reasonable. Here was this rich guy blowing money on chopper rides because he was too lazy to fight the traffic. The way my father explained it, he practically deserved to be ripped off. But what Kaylee seems to be getting at is that nobody deserves to be ripped off. Not even so their money can go to a good cause like helping poor people. We'll take a vote. A secret ballot, Mr. Novak announces. Was Robin Hood a good person? Was it okay for him to steal from the rich, so long as he gave it to the poor? Answer yes or no. I understand it's complicated. Ethics always is, but sometimes you have to make up your mind. We all take out a piece of notebook paper. Beside me, Logan writes a bold yes across the page, folds it up, and hands it in. Over my shoulder, I catch a glimpse of Kaylee's vote. No! With 5 exclamation marks. Whispered consultations are going on all around the room, with plenty of hems, haws, and head scratching. The teacher is wearing a big cake-eating grin. He's got everybody thinking, and that's exactly what he wanted. I stare at my blank paper, but for the life of me, I can't figure out how to vote. My whole life, I've been told we're Robin Hood, but that doesn't seem quite right anymore. Come on, people, make a decision, the teacher urges. Cast your vote. The polls close in 30 seconds. The final vote is 14 yes, 11 no, with 1 absentee. What's an absentee? Teresa asks. A blank paper. Mr. Novak explains. Somebody couldn't decide. That was me. Try as I might, I just couldn't come up with the answer. Scene change. How come we're driving? Ariana asks as we get into the El Capitan a few days later. It's like a 5-minute walk. Dad laughs. You don't really need the answer, do you? Half the point is going to be at this shindig. We can't pass up the opportunity to show off the car. Dad's pretty thrilled that we got invited to the Romanos' party for the weekend before Thanksgiving. It means that we're becoming known as the family around the point. As Logan's best friend, I get a lot of credit for that, something that bugs Ariana to no end. Needless to say, we don't get stuck in traffic. The entire drive must be less than a couple of football fields, and takes under a minute. We pull up by the floodlit front door where 2 uniformed valets are parking cars. I recognize the one who approaches us. He's Lamont Pohl, older brother of Nathan, who goes to our school. I see him picking up his brother after football practice. He smiles at Dad. Sweet ride. Very sweet, my father agrees. He holds the keys just out of Lamont's reach. And this is the perfect spot for it. The valet looks worried. Oh, we're supposed to spread them around the neighborhood so they don't block traffic. Without missing a beat, Dad introduces himself and slips a $50 bill into Lamont's hand. But this is the El Capitan. Keep it right here, under the lights. Shows off the paint job. The 50 disappears into Lamont's pocket along with the car keys. You got it, Mr. Kirkwood. There's no greeter at the door, just Mona Lisa, who gives all the guests her famous half smile and cuddles up to me like we're old friends. Everybody knows cats are terrible judges of character, Ariana pronounces. Our father doesn't seem to notice the diss. Let's get inside and mingle, he says. The house is pretty crowded already. Most of the adults' attention is on the art. Dad still hasn't been able to confirm the value of the collection based on the pictures I took, but judging by tonight's guests, it's a hit. After all, pointers know a thing or two about the finer things. Fine real estate, fine vacations, fine restaurants, and especially fine cars. It makes sense that they recognize fine art, too. This is boring, Ariana complains. All anybody wants to do is look at pictures. Logan sidles up to us. It's not just pictures. We've got sculptures, too. My sister follows his pointing finger to a pedestal that displays a lump of bronze about the size of a cantaloupe. It's covered in craters, which gives it the appearance of either the moon or a wiffle ball. That's a sculpture, Ariana scoffs. I thought it was a doorstop. Yeah, well, there's a museum in Prague that wants to give us a lot of money for that doorstop, Logan informs him. Oh, look, there's Micah, my sister announces, slipping off into the crowd to join her 5th grade friend. Looking sharp, I tell Logan, who's all tricked out in a sport jacket, button down, and khakis. Yeah, my folks like to dress up for these parties. It's our big chance to impress the community. He adds air quotes to the last part. I nod. My dad was really happy to be included. It's not giving away any family secrets to admit that. Are you kidding? You guys were the top of the guest list. You're the family with the El Capitan. Plus, he adds, Mona would have scratched the walls down if you weren't invited. With the adults dominating the house, Logan leads me out back, where most of the kids have drifted. The property is huge and extends all the way down to the lakefront. A few high schoolers have their shoes off and pants rolled up and are wading in the water. A bigger group from Box Elder Middle are on the tennis court, playing tennis ball tag, running, shrieking, and laughing in a blizzard of gray-green dust. Micah is climbing the oak tree by the deck while Ariana stands at the base barking instructions at him. Dad thinks the Zabrakians are going to be the first to invest in El Capitan Motors. If that's the case, it will be because Ariana commanded it. We join a circle of kids hanging out in the gazebo. Someone has connected to a Bluetooth speaker and they're playing music and talking. The Atumwas are there, along with most of my homeroom class, Lena, Floyd, Janelle, Franco, and Teresa. I'm surprised that Kaylee isn't here. She's normally at the center of everything at my school. Come to think of it, this guest list seems like it could have been created by Dad. These are all the families from the Point and other expensive neighborhoods. People wealthy enough to be targeted as potential investors in El Capitan Motors. Dad must be in heaven. Everybody he wants to impress is right here, and his prototype is parked out front, illuminated by floodlights. One of the things I really like about Box Elder is that there are all kinds of people here, not just the rich types who live at the Point. When you've been going to private schools for so many years, you get used to everybody's parents being hotshot doctors or attorneys or owning their own companies. It almost makes you forget that the real world is full of teachers, postal workers, and short-order cooks. But tonight might as well be Parents' Weekend at Spielman. It bothers me, and not just because I'm missing out on the chance to spend some more time with Kaylee. Some waiters set up a long buffet table on the deck. It's soon filled with mini burgers, fries, chicken nuggets, and pasta for the kids. While we're eating, we can see through the giant windows that the adults are enjoying a much fancier buffet in the dining room. I can't help but notice that my father in there, surrounded by a large group of partygoers, the center of attention. Classic Davis Kirkwood II, formerly Parker Whitfield II, and before that Austin Winchester II, and Niles Wexford Bowles II, and a string of other identities I can't even remember. Paintings are okay, but a true star always commands the stage. I'm loading up my plate when I feel a tugging at my ankle. I look down to see Mona pawing at my sock. "Cut it out, cat," Logan scolds his pet. "Let Trey eat in peace." "You wouldn't like pasta," I add. "I bet there's a great cat food in the kitchen." But the calico is relentless, up on two legs, batting at my shin, and mewing at me. Then she starts away and comes back to nag at me some more. Logan gently nudges her with his shoe. "Beat it, Mona." "I think she's trying to tell you something," Teresa puts in. She squats in front of the cat. "What is it, sweetie? What are you trying to say?" I set down my plate on the table. "All right, Mona, lead the way." The cat starts around the side of the house, glancing back to make sure I'm still there. Logan, Teresa, and I follow her past bushes and flower beds. "If I get into trouble for abandoning the party," Logan informs me, "how will I explain to my parents that the cat made me do it?" He's got a point, but by now there's no question. Mona is trying to take us somewhere. We pass a side door and come around to the front of the house where a horrifying sight meets my eyes. The floodlights cast their glow on bare pavement. The El Capitan is gone. "The car!" Logan rasps. I feel like I should be screaming, but I find I have no breath. Desperately, I look around for the valets. The driveway's deserted. "Where are Lamont and that other kid?" I wheeze. "Aren't they in charge of making sure nobody steals the cars?" "How should I know?" Logan shoots back. "I'm not a valet." "Maybe once you park it, your job is over till somebody wants it back." "We have to call the police," Teresa exclaims. "No police," I gasp in a voice that sounds like I'm being strangled. She's wide-eyed. "Why not? Someone just stole your car." Why not? There's a simple answer to that question. Just not one I can give to Logan and Teresa. We can't let the police get too close to the El Capitan. It might not take them very long to realize that it's basically a Tesla with all the logos filed off, rebuilt with a Heinz 57 collection of auto body parts. Most people are dazzled by how amazing it looks and its zillion-dollar paint job, but cops are trained to see below the surface. For example, the license plates are fake. Also, there's no insurance or registration. You can't insure a vehicle that isn't registered because it doesn't exist. Most important of all, we can't have the police nosing around our family because they might connect us to something on their computers about a certain dad, son, and daughter trio who pulled off a dog show scam in Massachusetts not too long ago. Or an earthquake insurance swindle in California. Or a phony Florida charity called Adopt a Manatee. Logan bails me out. Maybe it's not stolen. Maybe it's... That's as far as he gets. "Maybe the valets moved it," I concluded hopefully. "Like it started out in front, but your folks thought it was blocking the driveway and made them park it on the street. That must be it." We race to the curb. Vehicles line both sides of the road. A couple I recognize as regulars, like the van for cable web communications and an old convertible that's always covered in parking tickets. But most are from the Romano's party, plenty of expensive big-name sports cars and SUVs. Heart sinking, I can already tell that the El Capitan isn't among them. Its silhouette is so unique, its lines so aerodynamic, its red paint job so lustrous that even in the dim glow of the streetlights, it would stand out. "It isn't here," I moan. "Now you call the police," Teresa persists. "You're wasting time. That car can be 1,000 miles away before it needs the recharge." "No police," I repeat. "It's the only thing I'm absolutely sure of." "You have to tell your dad at least," Logan puts in reluctantly. "He's the one who's responsible for the car." "Do you think he could get fired because of this?" Teresa adds in a hushed tone. "A prototype. Who even knows how much that's worth?" It's not like they can just go to the showroom and pick another one up. Uh, I don't know. I stammer. I'm afraid to open my mouth for fear that I'll say the wrong thing and spill the beans about the whole scheme. Obviously, Dad isn't going to be fired. There's no car company to fire him, but this is a gigantic problem. Head spinning, I struggle to organize my thoughts. El Capitan is our only reason for being here. With no prototype, there's no operation. Even worse, the car is like a ticking time bomb. If the police somehow get a hold of it, they can trace it back to us. It might not be the right way, but sooner or later, it will happen. I turn it over in my mind every which way, but I always come to the same conclusions. When I tell my father about this, his response is going to be a single word: Houdini. That's a word I don't want to hear. A bundle of swirling emotions is coming together in the pit of my stomach. Random feelings I don't fully understand yet. But the upshot is this: I don't want to leave. I like this town, I like my school, I like my friends. It's not as if I've ever made friends before. I've never made friends before. Of course I have. It hurt to abandon Rudy at Spielman. But the boarding schools always felt artificial. You live in this little dorm room until the next break when you can return to your real life. Box Elder is real life. And sure, it's not perfect. Pointers can be snobby, with their big houses and water views and fancy cars. No town is totally perfect, I guess. But out of all the places I've lived, Box Elder is the one that feels the most like home. The one where I can almost forget that it's only temporary and I'll be moving on one day. I can't quite put my finger on what makes a difference, but I suspect it might be this. When you're temporary, you don't let yourself get too involved. You know, you're going to be leaving, so what's the point? Box Elder's different. I care about the people like Logan and Kaylee. I care about Albion Pond and whether or not it gets cleaned up and turned back into a park. I care about Mr. Novak's ethics unit, which has made me think more than any other class I've taken. I even care about the neighbor's cat, who looks out for me enough to give me a heads up that my father's car is being stolen. What are the odds that in our next town I'll find another one of those? No, I don't want to leave Box Elder, but sometimes it doesn't matter what you want. I let out a long sigh. All right, let's tell my dad. I'm actually picturing that awful conversation in my mind when the sound of shrieking tires catches the attention of the three of us. 4 if you include Mona. A pair of headlights appears at the bend in the road, closing fast. Hey! Logan muses aloud. You don't suppose that could be... I squint into the darkness. But the halogen lamps are so bright that it's impossible to make out any detail around them. The El Capitan must be doing 60 by the time it reaches us. With another squeal of tires, it swerves into the driveway and hurtles up the pavement, lurching to a halt maybe 3 inches from the garage door. We're practically in the bushes from our effort to get out of the way. We watch as the 2 missing valets get out of the car, pink with excitement, and exchange an exhilarated high five. Teresa is outraged. Those idiots! They took the El Capitan for a joyride! I'm going to tell my dad never to hire them again, Logan exclaims. But I'm suddenly at peace. Leave it, I tell them, trying to keep my voice from shaking. The car's okay. The operation's still on. I get to stay. Thanks for joining me for Chapter 10.